What should be the ideal length of your emails? Well, let's look at the data and see what it tells us. Here's what the data says. 2 studies. First one, 50 to 125 words. Not lines, words. Emails that did this had a response rate of 50+%. Here's another one, another study. 20 or fewer lines, about 200 words. So that first one was a study done by Boomerang. The second one was a study done by Constant Contact. The interesting thing, neither one of those places have anything. There's no advantage in their stretching this data. In fact, Constant Contact has hundreds of thousands of accounts that they can measure actual responses based on this. And that's this data right here, 20 or fewer lines, about 200 words. Now, why am I showing this? Because this is incredibly important. I regularly see emails that simply won't get read by people who are sending out marketing messages. And you say, but wait a minute, I can't say anything in that few words. Actually, you can, as long as you understand a really key principle about email, and that is this. The job of the email is to hook them. What comes after the click in the email is what does the work of the selling. So you need to remember 3 things about emails. Number 1, most 81% of all emails are read on phones. Now, when you get a phone message and it's 16 pages down that you have to scroll on your phone, are you going to read that no matter how good the story is? Remember also, many of those emails are read in circumstances that aren't necessarily conducive to reading long emails. Number 2, the purpose of an email is to get them to do something else, like read an article, watch a video, go to my sales message, whatever that is. The purpose of the email is not to sell them, it's to send them someplace else where they get sold. And so if this is the purpose of email, then the whole purpose of any given email is to get them to do that other thing. So if you can't get them to click to go on to your sales message, your email has failed. So let's talk about some copy basics of how you make your email do that. So here's email copy basics. Number 1, you start that email with a hook, something to get them interested in your message. That hook probably is reflected in your subject line. It's certainly reflected immediately in the email message that you have there. Secondly, the body of the email gives them enough information to get them to click. And remember, you've only got 20 lines to do that in. Then you have a call to action. Click to get or to do X. This fulfills the hook. So here's the way I like to think of it. The other night, my wife and I were watching something on television, a series, and here's the cliffhanger. You know, the episode ends and you just go, oh, and you're just amazed that the episode ends. And my wife says, we're staying up. And if you knew my wife, she is not a person who stays up, but she really wanted to know what happened right after that. That's what your email is trying to do. It's trying to become the cliffhanger. And so you give them the info in the body and in the call to action that makes them want to go to that next step. So they're going, I have to click this because I have to know what else is here, either to conclude that story or to keep this interesting line of thought that you started. So speaking of story, so many people say, but Don, what about all these people that are doing this story brand stuff and talking about the importance of storytelling in emails? Well, first off, don't buy into that 100% lock, stock, and barrel. You should be telling stories, but every email should not necessarily be a story. It's a little bit like I have a hammer. I'm a hammer salesman. And so the people who are in the story business are saying, I have a story. And so I'm going to teach you how to tell stories. And yeah, they do work. But if every email is a story, you're probably not going to work all that well. It's like you got to have a screwdriver and a drill in your toolbox too. Okay, so what about a storytelling email? Yes, you should be doing storytelling emails, and they work the same way. They start with a hook, then you start to tell a story, and then you give them a cliffhanger that makes them want to click. So they go someplace else, a blog post, an article, a video, a sales page that continues and concludes that story. Okay, so these are some foundational elements of email. You start doing this so you can get significantly better results from your emails. And when you do that, you're going to get better results all around. You're going to get better open rates. You're going to get better click-through rates. You're going to get better buy rates, which puts more on your bottom line. Speaking of bottom lines, tell me what you think in the comments just below this, the bottom line just below this video. Okay, this is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.